Hare Krishna. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajata Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादां सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचना गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone to our Bhagavatam overview class. We are discussing from fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and last time we discussed chapter 15. The appearance of Prithu Maharaj was described in great detail. How Ang Maharaj, he became so upset because his son Vena, he was so crooked. He tried to reform him, but he didn't listen. Ultimately, Ang Maharaj, in frustration, he left the kingdom. And then the sages, they found that there is no king, so we have to install somebody as the king. There was no one but Vena. So they installed Vena, and as they installed Vena, because he was so cruel, all the thieves and dacoits, they became fearful and they hid. एक तो चीज अच्छी हो गई, but as they say, आसमान से टपके खजूर में अटके, ऐसी हो गई बात, The Vena was still more cruel. And he started troubling all the citizens, and he stopped all the religious rituals, sacrifices. The sages, they tried to pacify, tried to convince him, but he didn't listen. On the contrary, they started instructing and insulting the sages. Sages, they became very angry and killed him just by sound vibration, hunkar. Again, there was no king. The thieves, dacoits, they again started, creating chaos. The sages, then they churned the thighs of Vena and came out. Who appeared from the thighs? A very black personality appeared. He was the personification of the sins of Vena, and he was called as Bahuka. And he was sent to the forest. He became the father of all the Nishada dynasty. So because he was told, Nishida, sit down. Again, they churned the hands of Vena, and from there appeared Prithu Maharaj along with Archi. So Archi and Prithu Maharaj, they both appeared. And then in the last chapter, we heard how all the sages and the great personalities, when they saw that this beautiful, effulgent couple has appeared, they understood, seeing the symbols on the palm and feet and their bodily symptoms, that this personality is the expansion of the Supreme Lord, is expansion of the Palana Shakti, administrative potency. And the female was Archi. She was the expansion of Lakshmi Devi. So all the professional reciters, bards, Suta, Magada, Vandi, it is there everywhere. All the kings and everywhere, when king comes, somebody is there to glorify him. So all these people, they started glorifying very nicely, glorifying Prithu Maharaj for his wonderful activities, for his qualities. And Prithu Maharaj said, well, wait a minute, I have not done any of this. Why are you glorifying me? It is an insult to a person to glorify something for what he would do in future. पहले करने दो, उसके बाद बोलो. So that's how Prithu Maharaj, he humbly, he chastised them. But still, the bards, they continued to glorify. So that's what will happen in the 16th chapter. So in the 16th chapter, because all these professional reciters, they were ordered by the sages. They were not doing it whimsically. They were glorifying because the sages had already predicted. So Maitreya Muni continues the discussion. At King Prithu, he spoke such wonderfully. His speech was nectarian, just like honey was dripping. In future chapters, the speech of Prithu Maharaj is described. There are 7 qualities of a very wonderful speech. Charu chitrapadam slakshnam mrishtam gudham aviklavam sarvesham upakarartham tada anuvadanniva. Charu means pleasing to hear. Chitrapadam, full of metaphors. Slakshnam, it was very precise. Mrishtam, uh, it was very essential, helpful. Gudham, it was confidential. Aviklavam, without any duplicity. Sarvesham upakarartham, it was for the welfare of everyone. So Prithu Maharaj, he spoke such wonderfully that all the reciters, they were very pleased to hear. And the word used is Muni Chodita. Muni Chodita means because these people, they were instructed by the great sages to glorify. They could understand that he is an avatar of the Lord. He is not an ordinary person. So Prabhupada writes, as stated by Narottam Das Thakur, Sadhu, Shastra and Guru. One has to test all the spiritual masters according to these 3. Not that anybody says, I am God, okay, I'll accept it. Oh, I am Guru, okay, are you following other Guru? You have a Guru? Or you are following some scriptures? You have other saintly people you are taking guidance from? It is very common nowadays that somebody says, I have not read any scriptures. Mere man mein aa raha hai, you know. So that's how people, they accept such personalities also because they are expert in word jugglery. But Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, Guru Vakya, Chittete Koryaikya. We have to accept the words of Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, not just ordinary person. So although the king denied such praise, but still the reciters, they kept on praising him. And rather, Prabhupada writes, rather they were very pleased with the king because he was so humble and delightful. That is how a great personality is. The more one becomes great, the more he becomes humble. Vidya vinayena shobhate. The more one becomes knowledgeable, the more he becomes humble. It is said, if the tree is laden with fruits, the tree naturally bows down. If the trees of if the fruits of good qualities are there, then naturally the person will become humble. And king was very delightful. He was not chastising in angry mood, because in the previous chapter, it was described that Prithu Maharaj was smiling as he was speaking all this. So they continued to glorify that you are direct incarnation of the Supreme Lord. And by the causeless mercy of the Lord, you have appeared here. Although we are not qualified to glorify you, but still, whatever our capacity is, we are trying to glorify you, because even Brahma cannot describe your qualities. So many times devotees think, how can I preach? मुझे तो कुछ भी नहीं आता है. I am just hearing. I have not spoken anything anytime in my life. But whatever we have heard, whatever capacity, whatever qualification we have, we should try to glorify. Because nobody can glorify the Lord completely. It is said, even if somebody can count the snowflakes, even if somebody can count the rays of the sun, even if somebody can count the grains of dust on the earth, still one cannot count the glories of Supreme Lord. Gunatmanaste api gunan vimatum hitavatirnasya kaishirasya kalena, in due course of time, kalena yairvai vimita sukalpai. Even if somebody can count 3 things, Khemihika, Dyubhasya and Bhupamsa. Khemihika means sun rays, Dyubhasya means snowflakes, and the dust of the grains of dust. So that's how nobody can glorify the Lord completely, but still we should glorify for our purification. It is not that chalo sabka udhar karke aayenge, you know. We are getting benefited. When we speak about the Lord, we are getting benefited because our tongue becomes purified. As Maitreya Muni tells to Vidurji in the third canto, although I am not qualified to speak about the Lord, still I'll glorify Him. Whatever I have heard and whatever I have understood, according to that, I'll glorify the Lord, because if I'll not speak, my tongue will become unchaste. Tathapi kirtayam yanga yathamati yathashrutam yathamati. According to my intelligence, yathashrutam, whatever I have heard. Kirtir harer swam satkartum, I'll speak the glories of Supreme. Otherwise, giram anya abhidha asati, my words will become unchaste. So therefore, Prabhupada describes how the Lord appears by his own causeless mercy. There are two kinds of Maya, Yog Maya and Mahamaya. When Lord appears by his Yoga Maya potency. Prabhupada quotes a verse from Bhagavad Gita. 4th chapter, 6th verse, Krishna is saying, although I am unborn, Ajo Apisan, Aja, unborn, Avyayatma, indestructible, Bhutanam Ishvara, I am the Lord of all, still I appear because of my own potency. Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. So therefore, again, Prabhupada writes, we reject the Mayavad explanation that Lord appears in a body given by material energy. So Prabhupada never leaves the chance to, smash Mayavad. जहां कहीं भी मौका मिला, कुछ तो बोलेंगे ही. Because Mayavadis, they say that Brahman, when covered by mode of goodness, becomes avatar. Brahman, covered by mode of passion, becomes all the jivas. Brahman, covered by mode of ignorance, becomes matter. So therefore, they say, we'll still glorify you, although we cannot. Because why we are glorifying you? They say because of 4 qualities. We are eager for the sweetness of your pastimes. Krishna Katha is very, very sweet. Yeah, there is a verse in the 2nd canto, 6th chapter, last verse. Brahmaji is saying, Brahmaji Narad Samvad is going on. The same topic is going on in the Bhagavatam, Brahma Narad Samvad. So Brahmaji, he described all the Purusha avatars, how the creation happens and all the technical details. Itna sa batane ke baad, he says, okay, I have described to you the creation, but let me tell you now what I like to speak, what I like to hear, what I like to describe. Pradhanyato yat rishamananti लीला अवतारान पुरुषस्य भूमना. लीला अवतार, अभी तो पुरुषावतार बताया है. Now I'll tell about the Leela avatar. What are the qualities of Leela avatar Katha? Apiyatam, they are relishable. Karna Kashaya Shoshan, they can destroy all the foul matters accumulated in the ears. Foul Karna Kashaya Shoshan, Anukramishye Ya Iman Supeshan, because it is sung by all the great sages. Supeshan, it is very pleasing to hear. They are sweet. And because all these sages are telling us to glorify you, so therefore we are doing. And your pastimes are shlaghyani karmani. They are praiseworthy. We have discussed earlier also. Everything about the Lord is worth doing. Smaraniya, worth remembering. Smaraniya. Anything other word ending with niya? Shravaniya, worth hearing. Anything else? Kirtaniya, worth glorifying. Bhajaniya, worth speaking. Or Darshaniya, worth seeing. Or Vandaniya, worth reciting beautiful. Pujaniya, Archaniya. Sprihaniya, एक word ये भी है, Sprihaniya Sheela, worth desiring. He is the only person who we should desire. Sprihaniya. So that's how everything about the Lord is worth doing. Pathaniya, worth reading. Namaniya, worth offering obeisances. So therefore they are saying, Shlagyani, they are worth glorifying. The activities of you, O my Lord, they are worth glorifying. And because you are Shaktya Vaishavatar. Prabhupada writes, however expert one may be, he can never describe the glories of the Lord. Nonetheless, he should try to do so. Although I am not qualified to do so, still I should do, according to my capacity for my purification. Devotional service is the real method by which one can satisfy the Supreme Lord with just a few words. That's it. खाली दो शब्द बोलेंगे भगवान प्रसन्न हो जाते हैं. That is the beauty of bhakti. Krishna is not pleased by big offerings. He is pleased by small devotion. That's what he tells to that's what Sudama is telling. As he is returning empty hand without getting anything, apparently he thought kuch diya hi nahi. But he said, oh, no problem. Krishna accepted my small offering of chipped rice. Although he is served by Lakshmis, but still he accepted. That's how great my Lord is. So now they are glorifying Prithu Maharaj nicely. Esha dharma bhritam sreshto lokam dharme anuvartayan gopta cha dharma setuna shasta tat paripanthina Esha dharma bhritam sreshta. This king Prithu Maharaj, he is the best among all who are following the religious principles. Dharma bhritam sreshta. Lokam dharme anuvartayan. He will engage everyone in pursuit of dharmic principles. Lokam. He will engage all the loka anuvartayan to practice dharma also. He will himself follow. He will make others also follow. And gopta cha dharma setunam. And he will give protection to all who will practice dharma. Gopta. Gopta means protector. Dharma Setu, he'll be the protector of all the dharmic principles and people who will follow them. Shasta. Shasta means he'll be the chastiser. Of whom? Tat Paripanthina. Irreligious and atheistic people. They'll be chastised by Prithu Maharaj. So that is the primary description of Prithu Maharaj, how he'll be following and practicing dharma and protecting dharma. Prabhupada writes in the purport how atheistic government should never be supported by a king. That is a test of a good government. However, in Kali Yuga, democratic government can be captured by Krishna. Then Prabhupada says, in Kali Yuga, democratic government can be captured by Krishna conscious people. Prabhupada wanted, one time Prabhupada was giving an interview and in some Western country. And he was talking about how things are not going properly in the world, how the government, they are exploiting people, taxes are increasing. So at one point of time, the reporter asked, Swamiji, so who do you think should become the king of the world? Prabhupada said, I. And reporter was shocked. And, unfortunately, when Prabhupada said that, just few seconds before the recording stopped because the reel, was over. It could not be recorded. So Prabhupada said that many times, that the devotee should capture the government. They should become the king. They should practice. In fact, Prabhupada wrote letters to Indira Gandhi that all the members of parliament, they should chant Mangalarti, they should chant 16 rounds, then they should enter parliament. ऐसा ऐसा प्रभुपाद का मतलब सोचो तो बड़ा सोचो. That was Prabhupada. Prabhupada writes here, the democratic government can be captured by Krishna conscious people. If this can be done, the general populace can be made very happy. And then Prabhupada says, in the name of secular government, people are not encouraging any dharma. Secular means encourage dharma, but Prabhupada writes we should uphold dharma and oppose anyone who is adharmic. So when such descriptions come in Bhagavatam, people say, चलो हमको धर्म के लिए बोल रहे हैं, हम धर्म का पालन करेंगे. We will also practice Hindu dharma and we'll also do all the rallies and everything. But we should understand whenever Bhagavatam describes dharma, what is a dharma which is expected of a devotee who is practicing Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it is so very easy to get into all the passionate forms of religion, seeing all the other religions exploiting us, and we may be thinking, chalo hum bhi karenge. Ye chanting and to hota rahega. First, we should practice and establish dharma. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes in this verse, Dharmasya hi apavargasya nartho arthayopakarpate narthasya dharmaikantasya kamo labhaya hi smrita. First canto verse, second chapter. What is dharma? Dharma should be practiced for apavarga, for liberation. Nartho arthayopakalpate, not for artha. So in that, Chakravarti Thakur writes that what is dharma for karmi? What is dharma for karmi? Fruitive workers. What is their dharma? What they should do? They should do yajna. That is the traditional way of dharma for karmis. And what is their apavarga? What is their desirable object? Heaven. Swarg jana hai na ultimately. Karmis, they do all these, they will do all the hard work for swarga. As Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, they will do all the hard work, but for what? They want to go to Swarga. For Gyanis, their dharma is Dutapasya, Brahmacharya, Tapasa, Brahmacharyena, Shamena cha, Damena cha, control senses, control the mind. What is their apavarga? What is the ultimate end for the Gyanis? Liberation, Brahman. What is dharma for yogi? All the yogis, they practice yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, all these 8 limbs. What is their apavarga? Their apavarga is also mukti. They want Paramatma realization, which ends in ultimately Brahman. But then he says, what is dharma for a devotee? What is dharma for a devotee? He says, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam, Pada, all these 9 limbs. And what is the apavarga for a devotee? Ultimately, love to develop prema. So when we hear all these things where dharma, we should practice dharma. As a devotee, we should be very clear what is our dharma. Our dharma is Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. Anything which helps and supports in practice of this dharma, we will do. Anything which does not help, we will reject. What is this principle called as? Anukulasya sankalpa, pratikulasya varjanam. Accept whatever is favorable, reject whatever is unfavorable. So anyone who helps us in practice of bhakti, that is favorable. So that's how Prabhupada describes how the government of Kali Yuga should be democratic and the devotees should rule the government. And then Prabhupada describes how in the end of Kali Yuga, the government will become like plunderers, the Siu Prayeshu Rajasu. Okay, then they continue glorifying. Esha vai lokapalanam vibharti ekastanautanuhu kale kale yatha bhagam lokayor ubhayor hitam. Esha vai lokapalanam, by manifesting himself as different demigods to perform various departmental activities. Bibharti ekastanu, in his own body, he will be able to maintain all the living entities. That's how powerful Prithu Maharaj was. Kale kale yatha bhagam. In due course of time, he'll maintain everyone. He'll maintain the upper planetary systems. by inducing them to perform sacrificial activities, Vedic sacrifices. And he will maintain the earthly planets by proper rainfall. That's how Prithu Maharaj would be the maintainer of everyone. Prabhupada writes, King Prithu alone would induce all the citizens to engage in such sacrificial activities so that there would be no scarcity or distress. So Prabhupada writes that how in the previous times, kings, they would sacrifice their everything for protection of their citizens. There is a story one time, there was a king in South India. He went to the forest for hunting and he saw that there was a creeper trying to just climb the tree, but the creeper was not getting any support to climb the tree. So he felt such compassion. He placed his chariot besides the creeper so that it could climb the tree and walked back the kingdom. So that is an extreme example of how the kings would take care of even plants. So what to speak of animals and what to speak of living entities? As Yudhishthir Maharaj, he was described as he was the father of everyone. He would take care of all the citizens like father takes care of the children. Prithu Maharaj, he would perform the activities of all the sons in due course of time. Okay. So now the King Prithu, he will be as powerful as Sun God. Just as Sun distributes the mercy equally to everyone, Prithu Maharaj will distribute the mercy equally. So sun evaporates water for 8 months and then returns in the rainy season. Similarly, the king should take taxes and return in the times of need. Prabhupada describes the process of tax exaction is very nicely described in the verse. Tax is not meant for sense gratification of the administrative heads. So Prabhupada in these purports describe lots of things about how the government should rule the citizens, what is the duty of the government. The King Prithu Maharaj will be like Bhumi Devi. Bhumi, she tolerates so many things. She tolerates so many people passing stool and urine. Similarly, King Prithu Maharaj will tolerate all the violations of the citizens. That means if somebody would come and he would speak some wrong for Prithu Maharaj also, he will tolerate. So that's how Mother Earth, she is described as the emblem of tolerance. Whenever somebody has to be compared for or glorified for tolerance, just like Prithu Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, in the first canto also. When he was born, he was glorified as he would be tolerant like earth. Prabhupada writes, it is the duty of the king to look after the comforts of citizens, even at the cost of his own personal convenience. So that's how the kings are. He will be like Chandra. He will be like the moon. Just like moon provides cooling rays, Prithu Maharaj will nourish all the citizens by his affectionate glance. That's how Supreme Lord is. Chandrika Vishada Smerai Saruna Panga Vikshitai Swakarthanam Ivarajaha Satvabhyam Srishti Palakai. Supreme Lord, by his loving glance, he creates the desire for service. And by his loving smile, gentle smile, he removes all the distress which is there in the heart of a living entity. That's why Kapila in the third canto, he describes we should meditate on the beautiful smile of the Lord. That smile has the power to destroy the ocean of distress. Hasam harera vanata khilaloka tivra shoka ashru sagara vishoshanamatyudaram. Shoka ashru sagar. It is said that living entities, all of us, we have cried so much in so many millions of lives that it has created an ocean of tears. इतना रोए हैं, अश्रु सागर बना दिए. But the glance of the Lord, the smile of the Lord can destroy, evaporate the ocean of tears. That's why we should meditate on the smile of the Lord. And then we should meditate on the eyebrows of the Lord, which can destroy all the material desires. Sammohanaya rachitam nijamaya yasya bhrumandalam munikrite makaradvajasya. Sammohanaya, because we are attracted by Cupid. All the desires of the world, they attract our mind. It can be destroyed only when Supreme Lord gives mercy. Because when Supreme Lord enters the life of a devotee, in the mind of a devotee, all the desires can be pacified. He is called as Ichhapidhanam. Ichhapidhanam means he can fulfill all the desires. That's how Lord works. If somebody goes and asks the Lord for material things, will Lord give?
He'll give,
He'll give.
but he'll take it again.
No.
He'll kill the desire.
He will give. He'll give in a way that दोबारा मांगेगा ही नहीं. He will not ask, devotee will not ask for the same thing again. He will think, why did I ask this? Just like Dhruv Maharaj. Ichha pidhanam nijapad pallam. Krishna kohe ama bhaje mage vishaya sukh. Amrit chhade vishya mage ei bada murkh. He is worshipping me and asking for material things. He is foolish. Ami vigyai murkha vishaya ke na diba. Oh, he is fool. I am intelligent. Swacharnamrit diya vishay bhulaiba. I'll give him my devotional service. He'll forget all material desires. That's how Lord works in the life of a devotee. That's how Prithu Maharaj will also work. He'll be like moon. Then he'll be like Varuna. Nobody can understand what is happening below the surface of the ocean. Similarly, nobody will be able to understand how Prithu Maharaj is making policies, how he is ruling the kingdom. He'll be very, very grave. King Prithu's path of diplomacy was very grave. His success was made possible because he was a reservoir of unlimited glorified qualities. It was like ocean. Nobody could understand how he will behave when. And that creates sometimes little, apprehension and anxiety. आगे क्या होगा? बता दो ना क्या मेरे लाइफ में क्या होने वाला है, But Krishna never reveals what he has planned for his devotees. But we should be rest assured whatever will happen, it is for our good. Because nobody can understand. In the case of Pandavas, when they went to Bhishma along with Krishna, so there, Bhishma says, oh, so many problems came in your life. Aho kashtam, aho anyayam, yadyuyam dharmanandana. You are the sons of dharma. So many problems came in your life. You are not supposed to live also. So many difficulties. But Vipra Dharma Achyuta, because you had taken shelter of Krishna, Brahmanas, and religion, therefore you survived. It is all workings of time. Sarvam Kalakritam. And you know who is this time factor? ये सामने जो खड़े हैं ना, don't think he is your maternal cousin. यन्मन्यसे मातुलेयम सुरेन मित्रम प्रियतमम अकरोत सचिवम दूतम सौरिदाथ अथ सारथी. इनमें से कुछ भी नहीं है. He is not your messenger, he is not your dear friend or your protector or whatever. He is the Supreme Lord. Esha vai Bhagavan Sakshat. So Yudhishthir Maharaj में से well, सामने खड़े हैं तो पूछ लेते हैं ना, बता देंगे what is the plan. He says nobody can understand. Nahi asya karhichit rajan, O king, nobody can understand. Puman ved viditsitam yad vijigyasaya yukta muhyanti kavayopi. Even great poets, great intellectuals cannot understand. He says, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur tells two things. Even if first of all, if you ask him, he will not tell. And even if he tells, you will not understand. So that's how Lord works. That's how Lord is. Nobody can understand why Lord is putting me in this situation. Even if Lord comes and tells, ऐसा कैसे कर सकते हैं? I know you are omniscient. I know you are omnipotent, but don't use your intelligence. I have my plans ready. You just execute them. I don't believe in your omniscience. आप सब जानते हैं, वो साइड में रखो. मेरा plan ready है. I have made my plan. You just execute it because you are omnipotent. But Krishna doesn't work like that. Krishna is supreme independent. He is autocrat. So therefore, nobody can understand how Lord is working in the life of a devotee. How great devotees work. Just like Prabhupada, he just went with 40 rupees. As a common man, nobody knew that he'll transform the world. Prabhupada was once asked his disciples, am I simple or crooked? The disciple said, Prabhupada, you are so simple. Prabhupada said, no, I am crooked. I came here and I tricked all of you to come to Krishna consciousness. If the government, American government would knew what I'm going to do, they would not have allowed me inside. That's how Krishna is. Krishna enters very small, like Matsya. ऐसे घुसते हैं, पता भी नहीं चलता है कब घुस गए. एक प्रोग्राम में ही प्रसाद खा लीजिए. That's how Krishna enters in the life, and we think, oh, innocent hai, theek hai, koi baat nahi. But he enters like a needle, comes out like a plow, destroys all our material desires are gone. Material life is gone. Nobody can understand how Lord works. Upagupta vittaha. No one knows how King Prithu will plan. What are his policies? Prabhupada writes. It indicates that no one would knew the extent of the riches Prithu would confidentially keep. The idea is that not only the king, now Prabhupada is giving a instruction, not only the king, everyone should keep his hard-earned money confidentially and secretly. बताना नहीं चाहिए कितना है अपने पास. That is how everyone should live. Prabhupada writes, in olden times, husband or wife would keep some money hidden. अभी भी ऐसा करते हैं ना, मतलब माताएं तो ऐसा थोड़ा छुपा के रखती हैं, इमरजेंसी में काम आ जाए, you know. I remember when demonetization happened, my mother was telling her, जो भी बचा के रखी थी सब देना पड़ा पापा को. So that's how they have their, you know, nature of saving, कि भाई बाद में काम आएगा, इमरजेंसी में काम आएगा तो I'll give. Prabhupada writes, keeping one's money very, very secretly is an old practice. For we find this practice present even during Prithu Maharaj's time. So therefore, everyone should keep the earning secret. And then Prithu Maharaj, he will be like fire, Agni, unapproachable. Nobody can approach fire. Intolerable, unconquerable. Nobody could conquer him. So that's how King Prithu was so powerful, just like a very, very powerful king. In the current history also, in recent history, many great kings like Shivaji Maharaj, how he would make policies, how he would win. You know, we all know some stories about how Shivaji, when he was captured by Aurangzeb, he told that I am not eating any grains. I am just eating some fruits. So he told that please bring some fruits. And he arranged to get a basket full of oranges. And he entered that one of the basket and escaped. That's how Shivaji and all these kings were. They were very powerful. They knew how to, you know, make their policies. Prithu Maharaj, he will be like the air. Just like air can enter inside and outside and know everything about everywhere, everyone. King Prithu will know about everyone just like air by his espionage, by jasus. He'll be like Dharmaraj. He'll be equal to everyone. If the son of his enemy is not punishable, he will not punish him. And if the son is punishable, he'll punish him. Just like Krishna, when his son Narkasur, he was doing all mischief. He didn't say, Are, he's my son, how can I kill him? He killed him. Narkasur is born of Bhumi and Varaha. So Krishna killed him. So we think in terms of, oh, he's my relative and he's a friend of my relative and he's a friend of my enemy. So I'll deal with this friend of my enemy. Enemy is also in a same way. But Krishna is not like that. If the friend of the enemy or if the relative of an enemy is having good qualities, he'll deal with that person in different way, just like Prahlad and Hiranyakashipu. So that's how Prithu Maharaj, he was like Dharmaraj, equal to everyone. When we are dealing with devotees, and when we see that, oh, this group of devotees, they all are like the same only. No, we should never do like that. One of the devotee may have some good, some bad quality, or two, three may have some bad quality. If we start thinking, ये group वाले सब ऐसे ही हैं. So we should be very careful, not judge devotees. Just because few devotees are doing something wrong, others may also be doing the same thing. No, it is very, very dangerous. He'll be like the sun god. Just like sun god, he spreads his rays everywhere. The influence of Prithu Maharaj will spread everywhere. Prabhupada writes. No one can check the sunshine from spreading all over the universe. Similarly, no one could check the influence of Prithu Maharaj. His influence would spread up to Manasottar mountain. Manasottar mountain is, if you have studied a little bit of cosmology, in the Bhumandal, the entire Bhumandal, there is a Manasottar mountain, which is so high that the sun rays can't go beyond it. So that is the end of the any civilization.
Mountains.
Big mountains. They are all circular. It is one circular mountain, not two. We see in cross section as two. It is all around. It is a circular mountain around Bhumandal. Around after the last Dweep in the Sapta 7 islands. And then there are many other. So that's how. There is a Manasuttar mountain. So the influence of Prithu Maharaj would spread everywhere. In fact, the influence of devotees there actually spread everywhere.
Local, yeah.
Local mountain, no?
Local mountain. The upper section, upper front.
Yeah, correct. वो तो लोकल लोग है. यहाँ पे चक्रवर्ती ठाकुर लिखते हैं. His influence will spread up to Manasottar mountain. It is as far as the sun's rays extend. Check करना पड़ेगा. I know, yes, local लोग है वो बड़ा वाला. Manasottar mountain is a mountain on which the sun moves. The one wheel of the sun, a chariot of the sun, moves on the Lokalok mountain. So Manasottar mountain. So, but यहाँ पे maybe he's telling like that because the sun chariot moves on the Manasottar mountain. जिन्हें cosmology नहीं पढ़ा है नहीं सुना तो.
About the Meru mountain, above that.
Yes, yes. And then they start glorifying Prithu Maharaj in beautiful way, glorifying the qualities of Prithu Maharaj. Ranjayishyati allokam ayamatma vicheshtitaihi athamum ahurajanam manoranjana kai prajah. Ranjayishyati allokam. This king will please everyone by his practical activities. Ayam Atma Vicheshtitai, all the citizens will be very satisfied. And because of this, Manoranjanakai Praja, the citizens will take great satisfaction in accepting him as the king. Manoranjanakai. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, the Raja, the word Raja. Raja has two meanings. It comes from the word Raj, Rajati, means he shines. Second, Ranjayati, he attracts. So these are the two qualities of Raja. He shines, he spreads his influence everywhere by his wonderful qualities, and he attracts everyone or pleases everyone. Ranjayati. Dridavrata Satyasandho Brahmanyo Vriddha Sevakah Sharanya Sarva Bhutanam Manado Dina Vatsalah. It's a very simple. Dridavrata, he was very determined. Satyasandho, always situated in truth. Brahmanya, he is a lover of Brahminical culture. Vriddha Sevakah, he was serving all the old men. Sharanya, he would give shelter to all the surrendered souls. Sarva Bhutanam. Manadaha, he would give respect to all. and Deenavatsala. He is merciful to poor and innocent. That's how a great personality is. The more a person becomes big, the more he learns to give respect to everyone. That's the natural outcome of a great personality. He is always Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena. That is a natural outcome. One doesn't have to be told, now you have to give respect also to others. Sakala Sammane Korite Shakati Deho Nath Jatha Jatha. Sakala Samman, O Vaishnava Thakur, please, O Gurudev, please give me strength to respect everyone according to their status. Respect everyone. Even a Kanishta should be respected. A person who has come first time, started chanting first time, he should also be respected. All the living entities should be respected, but according to their position. How to respect a Kanishta? By offering respects in the mind. How to give respect to the Madhyama? By making friends with that person, offering obeisances. How to give respect to Uttama? By serving that person. So that's how we can give respect to everyone. In Vedic culture, even a broom is respected. We don't touch the broom with our feet. That's how the culture is so very refined. Dehonatha Jatha Jatha. All the living entities should be respected. Sharan. Manada Dina Vatsalaha. So
in Diwali, no, we do puja of broom,
Acha.
and Lakshmi Puja day.
So देखिए कल्चर अपना बहुत ही refined है. So we give respect to everyone. Okay.
But in factory, they do puja of the tools also.
हाँ वो तो करते हैं ना, विश्वकर्मा पूजा जो होती है. Yeah, that is there. So respect everyone, but not that if the animals are to be respected, if a tiger comes, I'll also offer obeisances to tiger also. Vancha Galtaru, wo bolega Mahaprasade Govinde, according to the level. Sharanyaha, he is worth taking shelter of. That's what Lord Ram tells. I have taken a vow. When Vibhishan comes, everybody saying, please don't give him shelter. Vibhishan says, please go and tell Lord Ram that Vibhishan has come. Shipram Navedayat Vipra Vibhishanam Upasthitam. Please give me shelter immediately. I am coming from a demon family. Now I have decided to take your shelter. Please tell Lord Ram to accept me. बाद में मेरा मन बदल जाएगा तो बोल नहीं सकते. So whenever we have some good thoughts, execute it immediately. अभी करने का मन कर रहा है, अच्छा कर लीजिए, you know. वो मंदिर जाने का मन कर रहा है, थोड़ा एक्स्ट्रा चैंटिंग करने का मन कर रहा है, कर लीजिए. So that's how we should do it immediately. He says, even if Vibhishan, what to speak of Vibhishan, even if Ravan comes, I'll give him shelter. Sakriteva prapannoya tavasmi iti chayachate avayam sarvada tasmai dadami etad vratam mama. I have taken a vow to protect and give shelter to anyone who comes and tells once. Tava asmi iti. I am yours, O my Lord. So Prithu is also showing that quality. Matri Bhakti Parastrishu Patnyam Ardha Ivatmanaha Rajashu Pitrivatsnigdha Kinkaro Brahmavadina Matra Bhakti Parastrishu. He would respect all women as if they were one's own mother. Matravat Pardareshu Pardareshu Lostvat Patnyam. He would treat his own wife as Ardha Ivatmanaha Ang, half of his own body. क्या बोलते हैं? Ardhangini. Ardhangini, you know. Patnyam Ardha Ivatmanaha. Prajashu Pitrivat. Again, you know, he would treat all the citizens like father. Pitrivat. Kinkaro Brahmavadinam, and he was the obedient servant of the devotees. So devotees and brahmanas, they are never to be chastised. They are never to be ruled. That is what comes always, Prithu Maharaj tells to all the citizens also, when Vishnu, third canto, when all these uh, Brahmanas, four Kumaras, they come, he also tells, the Brahmanas, they should never be punished. Of course, those Brahmanas are also of that caliber. And he says that even if the Brahmana does a mistake, still he should not be punished. It will come. Prithu Maharaj will tell in the next chapter his instructions to citizens. Even if the Brahmana commits some mistake, even if he speaks harshly, still you should not punish. That was the respect the Brahmana was given. Therefore, he was the servant of all the Brahmavadinam or devotees of the Lord. So that's how so many things are described, and then it is described. He was embodiment of all the wonderful qualities. He was free from all the material contamination. Mukta Sangha Prasangoyam. He would always associate with liberated people. It was not that I am the avatar of the Lord. I don't need association of all these devotees. He was also associating with devotees of the Lord. So this king would be the master of the three worlds. He would be the empowered personality, liberated soul, learned, Shaktya. So many qualities they are describing, glorifying. And then they predict the future activities of Prithu Maharaj. अभी तक तो बताया कि what he is manifesting, what are the wonderful qualities. Now in future, what he'll do? They say he'll be traveling all over the world on his chariot, holding his bow, and he would be like sun. Prabhupada writes. In the fifth canto, it is described the sun rotates in its own orbit at the rate of 16,000 miles per second. This concludes that sun is not fixed in one place. Prabhupada, many times he gives whatever is described in cosmology and Vedic cosmology, modern science, they differ. According to modern science, the sun is fixed, all the planets are revolving. But scriptures and Vedic cosmology says sun is moving. And Prabhupada quotes one other verse. Brahmaji says, Yasya Gaya Brahmati Samvritakala Chakro. By the order of the Supreme Lord, sun is revolving. So that's how he is describing. When the king, he will travel all over the world, all the other kings, they would offer all kinds of respects. They would give all the wonderful presentations. And all the kings of these various, all the queens of these various kings, they would also glorify, they would sing the fame of this wonderful king. And these women, all the wives of all the other kings, they also knew the glory of this Prithu. And they are making some wonderful predictions. Just as Indra, he traveled the earth and milked the earth as a cow. Sinful, sorry?
He leveled the earth.
Yeah, he traveled and he leveled. Yes, he traveled all over the earth. And because he wanted to establish all the cities, so first leveling has to be done. So with his chariot, he destroyed all the mountains and all the, small places which were upraised. And then all the sinful people, they could not stand his valor. Prabhupada tells, when the lion moves in the forest with his tail upward raised, all the menial animals hide. That's how Prithu Maharaj would be. He would perform 100 horse sacrifices. And Indra, he would steal the 100 sacrificial horse. And then he would get wonderful, spotless spiritual knowledge from Sanat Kumar, one of the four Kumaras. And then he describes that the fame of Prithu Maharaj would be spread all over the world. Tatra tatra girasta asta iti vishruta vikramaha shoshratyatma shrita gatha prithuho prithu parakramaha. In this way, Vishruta Vikramaha, the chivalrous activities of Prithu will be spread The fame of these activities will be spread all over the world. And wherever Prithu will go, he will hear about himself. People would glorify him wherever he would go. Prabhupada writes a very interesting statement there. To artificially advertise oneself and enjoy a so-called reputation is a kind of conceit. आजकल जो भी चलता है, advertise oneself. Prabhupada says it is a conceit. Prithu Maharaj was famous among people because of his chivalrous activities. He did not have to advertise himself artificially. One's factual reputation cannot be covered. Just like one cannot hide the sun. Similarly, if somebody has wonderful qualities, it will naturally spread. Of course, in Kali Yuga, people, the person who is good, he has to advertise himself. If he wants to do welfare for people in general, he has to tell the people that I am doing this good thing for you. So that is the sad part of the Kali Yuga, that even good people, they have to advertise themselves. So that's how Prithu Maharaj, he would be glorified everywhere. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, there is a wonderful story. One day, all the devotees headed by Srivas Thakur, they were chanting the wonderful qualities and glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Mahaprabhu, when he heard, he didn't like anyone glorifying his name. He became very angry. He says, why are you leaving the chanting of the names of Krishna and you are chanting my name? Which type of kirtan you are doing? Mahaprabhu chastised all of them. And then in some time, that time he was in Alalnath. All the people from all over the place, they came and they started calling the names of Mahaprabhu. And Srivas Thakur says, now how will you stop all of them? You are telling us to stop. Just see, nobody can hide the glories of sun. Similarly, nobody can hide your glories, O my Lord. So that's how Prithu Maharaj was glorified everywhere. And the last verse describes, no one will be able to disobey the orders of Prithu Maharaj. And the king will completely eradicate threefold miseries of everyone. He would be glorified by everyone. So that's how this chapter ends. Hare Krishna. Any questions? Anybody has? Satya Yoga, yes, Satya Yoga story.
This is Prithu Maharaj, why Lord Vishnu and Vaman Devi said, no, other one is
It's a Satya story, no? That is why I asked her.
No, not Vaman.
in the picture. Lord Vishnu is there on one side with four hands.
She is there on the other
His
side.
Lord Shiva.
Shiva is there, yeah. That's Shiva.
Sure. When you mentioned, Prabhuji, that the Brahmana should not be punished for his mistakes. So how do you identify a pure Brahmana?
That was the previous Yoga story.
Satya story.
When the Brahmanas were, having all the wonderful qualities, they would never do wrong things. But under the influence of anger, if some Brahmana, he does some wrong, speaks some harsh words, one was supposed to tolerate. Durvasa Muni was like example, Parikshit didn't become angry on that small sage, Shringi, who cursed him. He tolerated, okay, Krishna must have a plan for me. Tiraskrita, Vipralabdha, Shakta, Shipta. Devotee tolerates.
In spite of coming from a body of a king who was not so, but he is Sarvagun Sampanna just because of the sages which were giving the mantra and was born out of that.
There's a plan of the
No. He is the avatar of the Lord.
But me, I know flaw. Like avatar means Sarvagun Sampanna.
He is a Jiva Tattva.
Oh.
He is a Shaktyavesh avatar, who is Jiva, who is empowered by a certain potency. He is not Vishnu Tattva. He is a Jiva Tattva, but he is empowered by the Lord. So that's how he has developed all these wonderful qualities. Even a pure devotee develops all the wonderful qualities. 26 qualities they manifest. Sushil, Sahishnu, Shant, Vadanya, Gambhir, Madhur Vachan, Madhur Cheshta, Mahadhir, Sabar Samman Karta, Korena Sabar Hit, Kautilya Matsarya Himsa, Na Jane Tarachit. The glories of Pandit Haridas is described here. The priest of Madan Mohan temple or Govinda Dev temple. वृंदावन चैतन्य चरितमृत में आता है, कविराज गोस्वामी is describing the qualities of पंडित हरिदास. इतने सारे गुण है इसमें.
बाकी भी सारे सिंपल है।
नो नो वो अलग है. ये पंडित हरिदास
Consulting Guru.
हाँ,
They said this side.
is the priest of Govinda Dev temple. So a devotee also develops wonderful qualities. That's how it is.
Just to understand this the concept of tolerance, you mentioned that Parikshit Maharaj was glorified for his tolerance, but he could not tolerate his thirst and could not tolerate.
That was
plan of the Lord.
Lord puts his trusted
At
devotees.
that particular moment, he lost
Yes, just like Arjun was bewildered. Not that he didn't know the topics of soul and all those things, but for the welfare of people in general. Sarvopanishado gavo dogdha gopalanandana. Partha is the Vatsa. Unless Vatsa is there, how will the cow give milk?
Yeah, and I heard in one of the lectures yesterday or day before that he was put in illusion. Prabhuji. And when he came out after that curse, he said, suddenly what happened? Where
Yeah.
was that? Like something like that.
Not after curse.
He needs
Just
to
after he
be-
walked out of the ashram, he started repenting. How could I do so? The person who could tolerate hunger and thirst for 7 days, how he could not tolerate for few hours, that was all happening under the influence of Yogamaya. That was the plan of the Lord, so that Bhagavatam could manifest for everyone's welfare. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, so we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.